Hi everybody, it's Jill Blanchette with Green Thumb Stampers. I'm back for another version of Finally Friday video. This week I'm going to go over some helpful hints on how to use our lockdown punches, the big ones for lining up your paper in there. So stay tuned and I'll be right back. Alright, today I'm going to give you guys a couple punch tips with our larger kind of border type punches. They don't all make a border, like this one's not going to actually make a border, but this one's called the Evergreen Punch. It is in the current catalog, and I would just want to show you a little bit about them. So, my glare, hopefully I don't have a lot of glare on there, but you can, there's like a lip here that you can use to line it up with. There's also some marks inside that show you like where the start of the punch is and like where it ends. So I don't know if you could see those two. I can't get it. I don't believe they're two like little metal lines in there. There's one here and one here, so I can't see in my camera image if they're showing up or not, but that'll show you where the start and stop of the cutting is. So here's these, just obviously again there's a lot of different ways you could do things, but for me it's easiest if if you just put it in right there, you can kind of center the punch so that you knew that at least part of it was going to be centered on spaced on your paper, and then see these cutouts along the edge. I don't know if does it show up? See those Christmas trees in there? These are what you can use to actually line it up. So if I'm going to put the paper in there, I'm going to line it up, the part I already cut out, over those trees that are, I'm going to say, the negative image. See, this is silver, then the negative image in there. If you line it up over that, and then punch again, it should be lined up correctly. And then we're going to come over to this side and line up the trees. And as you can see, I was going to this one, and that's not the right one, but you want to make sure that your your paper is actually going to get, punched on. You don't want to come out too far. So I've got them lined up there. And then I punch, and then this particular one is cutting out this row of trees. And now I can use that on I didn't bring a card over, but you can use that now. This one is very pretty if you run it through the Evergreen embossing folder. But now you've got this full line of trees to do whatever you need to with. I have a couple more punches to show you. This one is the Symmetrical Stems Punch that's also in the current catalog. This one is going to make a border for you if you want it. And it's just going to be, I was going to tell you the last time, there's a lot of ways you can line these up too. You could flip it over and look at the bottom to do your punching as well. These typically for me do not fare very well when I do that, so I'm just going to show you doing it the way I did the last time. I'm going to flip it over. I got to remember to get this in the camera and punch, and then I'm going to drag it down to where it lines up, and this time it's not really a negative image as much as these sprigs are silver. So I'm going to get it in line, and then I push down just a smidge, and then you can flip it over to look to make sure, it's not like here. I could see it's not going to punch off the page, and, it looks good, and it just holds it in place. You don't have to push too hard or it'll start to punch, but it'll just hold it in place. I tend to like to hold on to my punch to squeeze it down. Some of these, you may find that people like to push down on them. So you can line it up like so. And then people like to get the pressure down from above. Some of them work better that way. And now this one made a nice border down the side, but it also cut out these cute little sprigs of stems. So you can use these to flourish around a flower or your sentiment or whatever you want to use them for. But that's a bonus. You get this punch 2 for 1. So you get the little goodies to use, and it will make a border along the sidelets. So if this was a colored paper, you layer it and whatever's underneath will show through. You could then layer up your whatever you've stamped. You could put a layer over on this side. You could also punch again down this side. Like so. And now you've got the space down the middle that you could use as your focal image point, and then have these 2 rows of the stems down the side. Another thing, if you wanted, how about punch these out of a different color paper and then kind of glue them back in place. That would be cute too. Glue a different one in each color. And you can get, I'll say, tricky and just put your paper in there far enough to get the one sprig if that's all you wanted. And granted, I have this border here, so it's going to be hard to just get one, but you don't need to do both. You can lay it in there just far enough. And this is where turning it upside down is going to help. You can eyeball it, turn it upside down and punch, and then you can get, if you want just the sprigs, you can do that and get 1 or 2 sprigs. The last one I want to show you is the Holly Border Punch. It's in the current July to December mini catalog, and it is retiring. So it's on the sale starting on the 1st, and I believe I saw it was 20% off. So if this is a staple for your craft room that you think you might like, then I suggest you hop on the 1st and put one in your cart and get it. With anything else, that there's some dies that are going to be 50% off and some other good stuff. So check it out on the 1st through the end of the month while supplies last. But this is the Holly Border Punch, and it does make a border, but it leaves, I'll show you. So again, you can flip it upside down if you want to. I'm going to go in the center. These bigger ones for me work better if I line them up in the center. And again, I push on it and line my paper up. You can lay it down and slide it along. That works too. So what I'm going to show you in this one is it made the border on the paper. Oh, and here's another good tip. Can you see it's kind of stamp or punch through a few things your first time around. They come out, they're kind of dirty, maybe oily-ish. So if you stamp down a few times first, let's do this again. Stamp down a few times first, you will clean up some of the oil that's on them. I'm just going to line it up the way that I like. We're going to go back. And then there we go. We got a nice border down the side of the paper again. It does go pretty close, but you could slice up right here show you if you, say, did this in a colored cardstock. Get your trimmer out. Be a little more precise than me, but then you can trim it down the side, and then you've got an actual border that you could lay on your card over the top of whatever project you're working on. Again, you've got these cool little bits and pieces. You can punch them out again in different colors and make these green, and then you can come through. Oops, I'm off the camera, I think. Sorry. You can do these in green and come through here and glue them back in. You've got these little itty bitty dots that you could punch in red, or you could, if you're layering this on red underneath, you wouldn't need to put the little dots back in, or you can use the little bits on another project. So that's just some quick tips that you can do with the punches. I hope that I taught you a little something you might not have known. I'll be back again next week. Until then, you guys enjoy whatever it is that you're going to do. So there you have it. Some information on the punches that maybe, hopefully, you didn't already know. I'll be back again next week. So until then, enjoy, happy stamping, and see you around.